Jurassic World Rebirth is the seventh, yes, seventh, installment in the Jurassic Park/World franchise. How they've managed to squeeze 7 films out of 2 400-page novels, I'll never fucking know. Regardless, here we are, 6 movies later, following that 1993 landmark original film about a trip to a theme park that goes very, very badly. Rebirth kind of operates as a reboot for the Jurassic World universe, resetting a lot of aspects that were established in the previous 2 Jurassic World sequels, giving the people behind it a real chance to shake things up and do something truly unique, which, given writer David Koepp from the original film was lured back in by executive producer and living Hollywood legend Steven Spielberg, seemed like a real possibility. So, did that actually happen? Did Jurassic World Rebirth reset our expectations for Jurassic movies? Or simply pump out another cookie cutter sequel in order to make those dino dollars? Jurassic World Rebirth kicks off by establishing it's been 5 years since the events of the last movie, and that due to a combination of environmental factors, most of the dinosaurs that were let loose on the mainland have died out and the remaining species have migrated to a more oxygen-rich climate closer to the equator. Enter Martin Krebs, your classic money-hungry pharmaceutical executive who recruits Zora Bennett, played by Scarlett Johansson, to embark on a top-secret mission to Dinosaur Murder Island in order to collect samples from living dinosaurs, which potentially hold the key to creating a new treatment for heart disease that could be worth billions. Bennett, convinced by possibly making a fortune of her own, puts together a team consisting of longtime friend and partner Duncan Kincaid, played by the Blade That Never Was, Mahershala Ali, paleontologist Henry Loomis, played by Jonathan Bailey, and their head of security Bobby Atwater, played by Ed Skrein. The potential body count is increased by the anchors of the movie's B-plot as Ruben Delgado, played by Manuel Garcia Ruffalo, takes his daughters Isabella and Teresa on one final sailing trip before the latter heads off to NYU. They are joined also by Teresa's stereotypical douchey boyfriend Xavier, who has destined to get eaten by a dinosaur written all over him. An encounter with the Mosasaur brings the groups together, and the classic dino hijinks ensue. Rebirth is a simple film with a simple concept that doesn't stray too far outside of the normal Jurassic World formula, as dinos pick off members of the team one by one throughout the progression of the plot, leading to a final confrontation with the film's primary antagonist. Genetic hybrids once again play a significant role in this film as they are substituted in for the traditional dinos from the previous films as Rebirth's main animal antagonists. And the designs for these new hybrids are actually pretty good, with the prominently featured and advertised Disastrous Rex in particular standing out as a unique look at the monstrous effects of genetic modification. Unfortunately, that's really the only unique thing about this film, as the rest of the movie is pretty standard carbon copy sequel material, following the same dinosaurs on an island formula that the franchise has been pumping out for over 30 years now, to admittedly pretty good success. Scarlett Johansson is in this movie, but she never really seems to be into this movie, providing an incredibly generic Chris Pratt-like main character performance, although in her defense, she isn't given a whole lot to work with, as Zara is clearly just an incredibly attractive stand-in for the audience that isn't really given a whole lot of depth besides her interactions with Duncan and Henry. Speaking of, Jonathan Bailey and Mahershala Ali turn in the film's best performances, with Bailey's Henry Loomis being a genuinely endearing nerd whose pure childlike excitement at simply seeing a dinosaur is palpable through the screen, and Ali's Kincaid providing the film with its more emotional moments, as he appears to be the only person who actually is bearing the weight of the film's at times rather depressing events. Manuel Garcia Ruffalo does his best to help carry the B-plot, following the Delgado family's struggle for survival, but simply put, none of these people are all that interesting, with the whole douchey boyfriend slowly earning the respect of the dad side plot feeling a little unnecessary, considering Xavier risks becoming dino food multiple times to save Teresa. The only emotional investment I had in the Delgado family came in the form of Dolores, an Aqualops that joins the family on their journey across the most dangerous place on Earth. And if something had happened to this adorable little ceratopsian, I would have burned Universal Studios down and salted the Earth where it once stood. Outside of a Final Destination-esque opening sequence and some pretty sick creature designs, Jurassic World Rebirth is your standard cookie cutter summer popcorn flick. That doesn't mean it's a bad movie. On the contrary, I don't think this is a bad movie. Just one you'll purge from your memory banks a week after seeing it. Because if we're being honest, this movie wasn't made to be memorable. It was made to make money. And boy howdy, is it doing that. But box office revenue has no power here. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't see this movie. If you want to entertain the kids for an afternoon, Scarlett Johansson and dinosaurs is a surefire way to do that. I am saying this movie may not be worth sacrificing your firstborn before seeing it in the theaters, and you might be better off waiting for it to come to streaming. With all of that in mind, I am giving Jurassic World Rebirth 2 stars, my lowest rating yet. Man, we really started this series off strong in terms of movie quality. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. If you had a good time watching this review, give it a like and subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this one in the future. Have a wonderful rest of your day, night, and week, and I will see you guys on Monday for Fantastic Four First Steps.